Dr. Jonathan Reeves was a respected name in Rochester, New York. A fertility specialist with a pristine record, he and his wife, Margaret Reeves, were beloved figures in their community. They ran a successful clinic, participated in charity events, and appeared to be dedicated to helping couples struggling with infertility. However, behind the polished facade of compassion and care, a horrifying secret remained hidden for years. In late 2022, authorities uncovered one of the most disturbing medical crimes in recent history. Women seeking medical assistance were being lured into the clinic, only to be imprisoned, forced to give birth, and then murdered. Their babies were sold to desperate couples through an underground black market adoption ring. The truth, when it finally surfaced, shook the entire community to its core. For over a decade, the Reeves had been regarded as the epitome of kindness. Their clinic, Reeves Family Fertility Center, had helped numerous couples conceive, and their charity work made them a pillar of the community. Margaret Reeves, a former social worker, ran a shelter for young pregnant women, giving them housing, medical aid, and emotional support, or so it seemed. What no one knew was that the shelter was a hunting ground, a pipeline feeding vulnerable women into the Reeves' deadly operation. Many of the women who sought refuge there were never seen again. When questioned about missing residents, Margaret always had a plausible explanation. They moved away, reunited with family, or simply disappeared, a tragic reality for some transient women. The community adored the couple, making it difficult for any rumors to gain traction. Those who whispered suspicions were quickly dismissed. The Reeves were good people, weren't they? The first hints of something sinister emerged in mid-2022. Local law enforcement had received several missing persons reports, all pregnant women, all vanishing under similar circumstances. They had no connections to each other, but a pattern began to take shape. One detective, Mark Calloway, started piecing the cases together. One of the missing women, 23-year-old Lisa Montgomery, was last seen entering the Reeves clinic. Her sister, Emily, was adamant that Lisa had not run away. She was excited for her baby, Emily told reporters. She was planning a baby shower. She wouldn't just disappear. But there was no evidence linking Lisa's disappearance to the Reeves, and the case went cold until an anonymous tip changed everything. On November 15, 2022, a call came in to the Rochester Police Department. The voice on the other end was panicked, hurried. "You need to check the Reeves clinic. There's something buried beneath it. They're not who they say they are." The tip came from a former employee, one who had recently fled the clinic after discovering what she called a horror show. She provided enough credible information to obtain a warrant, and within days, law enforcement raided the clinic. What they found was far beyond anything they had imagined. Beneath the clinic, investigators uncovered a hidden underground facility. A surgical suite with outdated equipment, a soundproofed nursery, and most disturbingly, a hidden chamber containing decomposing human remains. The medical examiner later confirmed they belonged to multiple women, all in various stages of pregnancy at the time of death. Detectives also found records, meticulously kept logs of each woman's admittance, delivery, and death. Next to each entry was a notation of a sale, the gender of the child, the price, and the couple who had paid for the infant. As investigators dug deeper, they found another disturbing connection: Police Chief Harold Grant. Chief Grant had been a longtime friend of the Reeves and had conveniently dismissed or buried any missing persons reports that could have led to their exposure. In exchange for his silence, Grant received substantial kickbacks from the illegal adoptions, ensuring the Reeves operated without interference. Witnesses revealed that whenever a family came forward with concerns about a missing loved one, Grant personally assured them their relative had likely left town voluntarily. Some families who pushed too hard found themselves facing threats or false criminal charges. The Reeves had built their empire with his protection, making it nearly impossible for the truth to surface. It wasn't until a young rookie officer, Sarah Whitman, decided to bypass Grant and send evidence directly to federal authorities that the house of cards began to crumble. Whitman's report included discrepancies in missing persons records, suspicious bank transactions linked to Grant, and even internal memos instructing officers to delay any inquiries into the Reeves clinic. On December 2, 2022, after weeks of surveillance, federal agents moved in. Dr. Reeves was arrested at his home, where he was found attempting to burn medical records in his backyard. Margaret had already gone into hiding but was later tracked to a remote cabin in Colorado, living under an alias. During their interrogation, both showed a disturbing lack of remorse. Dr. Reeves insisted he was providing a service to childless couples. Margaret coldly justified their actions, claiming these women had no futures. At least their children do. When authorities turned their attention to Chief Grant, they found he had fled. A manhunt ensued, leading to his dramatic capture at a private airstrip, where he had been attempting to board a plane to South America. Facing overwhelming evidence, he attempted to strike a deal, offering to expose other criminal enterprises he had shielded over the years in exchange for leniency. Their trial captivated the nation. Prosecutors presented irrefutable evidence, financial records, forged documents, and testimonies from families who had unknowingly adopted stolen children. The courtroom was filled with relatives of the missing women, their grief palpable as the horrifying details were laid bare. One of the most heart-wrenching moments came when Lisa Montgomery's baby was identified through DNA testing. The child had been sold to a wealthy couple in Texas, who had no idea their adoption was part of a gruesome scheme. In the end, the jury took less than 2 hours to deliver a guilty verdict. Dr. Jonathan Reeves and Margaret Reeves were convicted on multiple counts, including murder, human trafficking, and fraud. They were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Chief Harold Grant received a 50-year sentence for obstruction of justice, conspiracy, and aiding and abetting human trafficking. Though justice was served, the scars left by the case remained. Authorities continued to search for other missing women, knowing that many might never be found. Families struggled with the reality that their loved ones had met such gruesome fates. More than a dozen illegally adopted children were identified and returned to their biological families, though not all were willing to take them back. Some children had spent years with adoptive families who had no idea their adoptions were the result of a crime. As for the community that once adored the Reeves, they were left in shock. How had they been so blind? How had the monsters walked among them unnoticed for so long? The case of Dr. Jonathan and Margaret Reeves remains one of the most chilling examples of medical crime in modern history. It serves as a stark reminder that even those we trust the most can hide unspeakable horrors. Since the case, federal agencies have increased monitoring of private medical facilities, and new regulations have been enacted to prevent illegal adoptions. But the question remains: how many similar operations remain undetected? And how many lives have been altered by the Reeves' dark enterprise? Even with their sentencing, one haunting question lingers: how many more silent cries will go unheard? If you found this case as chilling as we did, don't forget to subscribe to Whispers of Crime for more gripping true crime stories. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Until next time, stay safe and stay vigilant.